Good evening, Mount Vernon. Today is May 14th, 2025, and this is our city council meeting. We actually have a public hearing first. So just before we get started, let's go through some general housekeeping for those who are in the house. We have two exits from the council chambers. One is going to be the double doors over to your right-hand side if you're facing me. And then there's a back door that's labeled exit, also an exit. If there's a fire or anything of that nature, avoid the elevators. You can go to straight through the double doors on the right-hand side. There will be a main staircase that'll take you down to the ground level. Also, if you exit the the back door there and you make a right, there's a staircase that'll take you down to the ground level as well. If you have phones on hand, please put them on vibrate. If you need to have a conversation, please step outside because we can hear everything in this room. We're going to get started with the public hearing, but first we want to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to have it done by Councilwoman Caitlin Williamson. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you, Councilwoman Gleason. Clerk Bonilla, can we have the call of the meeting, please?
Yes, thank you, Council President Brown. This is the City Council public hearing and a regular meeting. The public hearing in Mount Vernon City Council chambers held today, Wednesday, May 14th, 2025, scheduled for 7 p.m. here in the City Council chambers. An amendment to Chapter 267 zoning of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon, quote-unquote code, to permit and regulate indoor amusement uses in the city, CV commercial business LI 7.5, landscaped industrial and I-1 industry districts in the city of Mount Vernon, followed by the regular city council meeting. This public hearing was advertised in the Journal News on May 4th, May 8th, and May 12th. It was also on the city's website and noticed in the rotunda here at City Hall.
Thank you very much, Clerk Bonilla. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilman Box Hill? Councilwoman Gleason? Here. Councilman Potteet is absent. Councilman Thompson?
Here.
Council President Brown?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Bonilla. Do we have any correspondence for this public hearing?
I do not have any written correspondence
Okay.
for this public.
Do we have any speakers in-house who would like to speak for this amendment? Do we have any speakers in-house who would like to speak for this amendment? Do we have any speakers in-house who would like to speak for this amendment? Are there any speakers online who would like to speak for this amendment? Are there any speakers online who would like to speak for this amendment? And for the last call, are there any speakers online who would like to speak for this amendment? And clerk, I'm confirming there's no one online that would like to speak for this amendment?
No, there's no one online.
Awesome. Is there anyone in the house who would like to speak against this amendment? Is there anyone in the house who would like to speak against this amendment? And as a final call in house, is there anyone in the house who would like to speak against this amendment? Is there anyone online who would like to speak against this amendment? Is there anyone online who would like to speak against this amendment? And finally, is there anyone online who would like to speak against this amendment? Okay. We don't have any speakers for this amendment. So do we have a motion to close this public hearing?
Go ahead. Motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second. Put your mic back on a second, please. Councilman Gleason, put your mic back on a second, please.
Second.
Thank you very much. Can we have a roll call?
Councilman Box Hill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason?
Aye.
Councilman Thompson?
Aye.
Council President Brown?
Aye. All right, that closes our public hearing on this zoning amendment. We can continue on to, we do have our land use attorney in house, but we do have some speakers signed up. Council, what would you like to do? Would you like to do executive session or do the speakers first?
Executive session, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session.
Well, before we second the motion, does everyone else want to go in executive session too, or do you prefer to do the speakers?
I kind of want to do the speakers.
Do the speakers? All right, so there's no second to that motion. Sorry, Councilwoman Gleason.
No worries.
Motion fails. We're gonna call speakers up. Mr. Peter Chashalis. And just as I'm calling people up, I want to let people know that you have 4 minutes to speak. At the 1 minute mark, you will hear a buzzer indicating that you have 1 minute left. And when you come up, please state your name and address for the record. I'm gonna move on to Mr. Ray Copeland. Ms. Ray Copeland is here online. This weather isn't great, so it's probably why no one's showing up. I see Mr. Jeff Monroe in the house. Mr. Jeff Monroe.
Good evening, council. Oh, sorry. Good evening, council. Good evening. For the record, my name is Jeff Monroe. Good evening, staff. Good evening, community. I would like to spend this 4 minutes. I have laudatory things to say, actually, congratulatory things, but I only have 4 minutes. So of course, I'm gonna try to speak constructively and lovingly in the critical sense that you're used to hearing me, because although I've congratulated the city on its completion of the public amplification and video system, I have a criticism in that I think it was done poorly. In a professional sense, my criticism comes from my expertise that says that you don't generally put PZM, otherwise known as perimeter zone microphones, in a small space where the same signal is going to be amplified. That's why you can't leave more than 2 mics open at a time from more than 3 seconds because of the feedback you're getting. That's why you're getting feedback. The pickup pattern on these microphones is way too wide to be considered adequate for the kind of application where you're just really using the immediate signal for recording, transmission, and/or amplification. Instead, you're using this wide pickup pattern, and of course, that's why you're getting feedback. The Holovic microphones that you had were perfect. That application is perfect for this. Why the UN does it. That's why Congress does it. That's why City Council had this application for this particular space. You would have spent a lot less than the $200,000 that I understand you did. While I also understand that the $200,000 plus was not itemized. At least I'm not aware of how much these microphones cost. At best, these microphones are maybe $500 each. They seem to be branded with JVS. I don't know that JVS makes these microphones themselves. I'd like to hear some explanation if they do. I know excellent standard, industry standard microphones that are not $500. So I'd like to see that these are at least less than that. But I'd also like to congratulate that the speakers were not replaced. So I know some thinking was done. I'm not here to denigrate the expertise that was put into installing these things. I'm saying that not only was it not done efficiently and most effectively, I think it was done without community input. I've already shared this with Councilmember Gleason because we agreed, and I still thank her for the audience she gave me, some weeks ago. But I think some audience input, some community input should have been necessary to put this kind of system in place. People should have been asked, how do you want to actually have interface with the council in an electronic sense? It's great that you have an HDMI cable for laptops. I don't see a USB-C cable because that's going to be the most typical kind of high resolution video you're going to be putting in here. But again, you didn't ask anybody, and it doesn't have to be me. There's plenty of people in this community that are similarly or better experienced than I am, who could have given you that feedback. You also have a cable advisory committee on which I sat, but which the body, for whatever reason, basically disabled until I left it. And to which actually I understand the mayor has 2 appointees, but I don't know the council has any appointees on the body. So I don't know what you have against this cable advisory committee, but it's the perfect institutionalized sanctioned body of the city. It's literally in your city code. Why don't you use it? It's a source of expertise. It's a source of conduit for community input for not just electronic communications, but the public square. You're supposed to be able to feed the community with information and get feedback through an institution like that, and yet you don't have one. So please do better at that. I'd like to see us do better. That's why I come up here. I'm not here for the attention, trust me. I just like to see us do better. So in that sense, that's really all I have to say on this issue. I know it's done, $200,000 is spent. I don't know that it's spent well. I think more could be done to actually expand. I think more could be done to expand on the system as well, because again, I don't know that I know a laptop could come here and be used as a source of video, which again is a great idea. But to close, I'm going to say you could also consider, like I said to Councilmember Gleason, some kind of video camera thing so that elders or people not technologically, sophisticated can have just a phone as a video source. But anyway, that's water under the bridge, but maybe next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony Gamelis or Gamels? We have a Tony Gamels online. I'll go back
No.
through the names. Mr. Peter Tashalis. Mr. Ray Copeland. And I'm not sure, Tony Gamels. All right, that concludes public comment. We're gonna start with responses from the council folks. I'll start with Councilwoman Caitlin Gleason.
Jeff, as always, I love to sit down and talk to you and go over things. There are some things that you brought up that I am in talks with Commissioner Perez about to upgrade, but I am happy that they integrated some of the existing equipment. I think that was very important. That did keep some of the costs down. But you brought up a lot of good things that I am in talks with Commissioner Perez about. So I want you to continue to be engaged. And I feel like when we sit down and we have conversations, they're very productive. And they also give us a different perspective. Now, can we go back to going out to the community? I think that we had gotten a lot of feedback from the community, but you're right. In hindsight, I would have rather put a survey out before just to see what the community wanted. But again, we'll take that into consideration going forward. So I just want to thank you again. You didn't have to take time out of, your daily life, but I appreciate it. You sat down with me, we went over it. I am taking the things that we discussed and I'm bringing it to Director Perez. This is an ongoing project, right? So just because the cameras and the TVs are up now, it doesn't mean that we can't improve on it in the future. So again, thank you so much.
Councilman Boxell.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Yeah, it seems as if we were anticipating your feedback, and then by the next meeting, they were up. I didn't realize they were gonna go up so quickly, but I don't know, I'm a novice when it comes to, this multimedia. And to me, I was like, oh, this is great. So, but you came in, you're like, you talked about the feedback, and I guess you made some valid points. So yeah, I'm interested in whatever expertise you want to share. Because like Ken Gleason said, it's an ongoing project. So we're here for improvement for the same reasons you are. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilman Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. I wish our other speakers came as well, to address their issues, but I hear Mr. Monroe's concerns. I think our tech people did a wonderful job with what's in place. Nothing is ever going to be 100%. You can put the best system in and someone will find something to critique. However, as Councilmember said, this is an ongoing thing that we have to consistently upgrade, upkeep, and make sure that it's beneficial to the community. So I think what's in place is 100 times better than what has been in place. And going forward, we can continue to converse with the community as well as our colleagues to make sure that we're doing the very best by our community. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Thompson. Ms. Monroe, thank you for coming out tonight. I know it's a rainy night. Also want to just say that, you know, we went out for RFP with this, so this has been maybe a 2-year project. And none of the council people are multimedia experts, audiovisual experts, but we did bring in experts to give us opinions on what was needed in here. And I also think that it's a phenomenal upgrade. We have visuals that the folks in the pews can see, also that the council can see. We have mics that actually you can hear online, and there's you know, not a ton of issues with audio online. So I think it's a great improvement. Can something be improved more? Absolutely, right? But budgets aren't unlimited. So with the budget that we had and the expertise that we had, we moved forward. I think that, you know, if you provide specific comments like you've done tonight, then potentially in the future years, when upgrades are needed, that we can move forward with those. With regard to the Cable Television Advisory Board, so the council has appointed members. We do need the school district to reappoint some of their members because their memberships have or their terms have expired. And the council is moving forward with another appointment. So, you know, it wasn't dismantled, as you mentioned. But, you know, the Cable Television Advisory Board will pick up once we have the people who are ready to move forward. But thank you again for coming out tonight. I appreciate your comments and I hope you have a great evening. Do we have a motion for executive session?
I'll make a motion for executive session to go in for legal counsel.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. Thank you. All right, beautiful people, do I have a motion to exit executive session?
I'll make a motion to exit executive session.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. All right, we're gonna move right into our our tally sheet. We can start with legislation and public works.
Hold on 1 second, I just wanna find. Is it possible the tally sheet just doesn't have the right date on it?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Just Monday.
Right, but usually it says tonight's.
No, that's the tally sheet. This is the meeting.
Okay. All right. All right, item number 1. Office of the Mayor and an ordinance authorizing the mayor to attend the 2025 New York Conference of Mayors and Municipal Officials, NICOM Annual Meeting Training School. That is on the agenda. Item number 2. Office of the Mayor and ordinance authorizing the execution of an updated memorandum of understanding with the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative. That's on the agenda. Item number 3, Public Works. An ordinance authorizing the amendment of Article 9, Section 105B, entitled Abatement of Nuisance of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon. That's on the agenda. Item number 4, Public Works, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing 1-year leave of absence for Mr. Jawad Abdul Halim, laborer, to serve as code enforcement officer in the Department of Public Works. That's on the agenda. Item number 5, Public Works, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a land lease agreement with Max Joel of Positive Pup Play Group for the external area of the animal shelter located at 600 Garden Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, 10550. That is on the agenda. I also would like to add that Corporation Counsel's office took out the excerpt that I had questioned regarding making alterations to the exterior part of the building without landlord, which would be the city of Mount Vernon approval. So that has been taken out. Item number 6, Public Works, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the Department of Public Works on behalf of the city of Mount Vernon to commemorate National Public Works Week from May 18th to May 24th, 2025. Item number 7, Public Works, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the attendance of the Department of Public Works skilled laborer Brian Whitley at the Traffic Signal Technician Training through the International Municipal Signal Association, IMSA, and authorizing expenditure of funds for such purpose. That's on the agenda.
As well as 6, so you can say agenda.
I didn't?
No.
Oh, sorry. Number 6 is on the agenda. Number 7 on the agenda. Item number 8. Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the declaration of emergency at city-owned properties, parking structure, and fire department Mount Vernon station houses. That's on the agenda. Item number 9. No, that's not me. Sorry. Hold on. I think I have an add-on. Yes, 2 add-ons or 3. Yes. Okay, item number 20, Elizabeth Ferreira, an ordinance authorizing a city permit for the Portuguese American Club's annual St. Antonio Feast, Portugal Day Block Party on June 8th, 2025. That's on the agenda. And I believe that all notifications from all city departments are in. Item number 21, City Clerk, an ordinance authorizing Council President Danielle Brown to attend the New York Conference of Mayors, NICOM annual meeting to be held May 28th to the 30th in Bolton Landing, New York, and that is being held. With that being said, that is it, Madam President. Thank you so much.
Councilman Gleason, Human Resources.
Thank you, Madam President. I have item number 9 from Recreation. An ordinance authorizing the recreation, the creation of an additional recreation assistant position in the Department of Recreation, reallocating the funds from existing position and amending the adopted 2025 budget accordingly. That's on the agenda. They have the information from the Comptroller's Office as well as CSEA. It's not a CSEA position. Item number 10. I have from Recreation, Department of Recreation, ordinance authorizing the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor the 2025 4th Street Classic Basketball Tournament in partnership with 4th Street Classic Basketball and Groovy Lou, and to provide support services. That's on the agenda. They also have all of the feedback they need from police, fire, and DPW. I'm sorry?
Thank you.
Item number 11, from the Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of ordinance number 16 adopted by the City Council on April 23rd, 2025, entitled an ordinance granting permission to the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau to utilize City Hall Plaza on Wednesday, May 14th. That date has been changed to next Wednesday, the 20th, due to rain, and that's on the agenda. If it rains on the 20th, then that event won't happen. I have one add-on. Item number 19, a resolution of the City of Mount Vernon honoring Miss Veronica Gill on the occasion of her 100th birthday, and that's on the agenda. That's all I have for human resources.
Thank you so much, Councilman Thompson. Public safety and codes, that is you're the code.
Sure.
Yeah.
Item number 12 is for information. That's consumer protection report. Item number 13 from the fire department, an ordinance authorizing the provisional appointment of Fire Captain Robert D. Curtin to the position of provisional deputy fire chief within the Mount Vernon Fire Department. That's on the agenda. Item number 14, Department of Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding to partner with Westchester County on the STRIVE initiative under the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services. That's on the agenda. And I have an add-on. Yeah. Item number 22 from the Buildings Department, an ordinance authorizing the reallocation of funds from the Code Enforcement Officer position to fund a temporary help position in the Department of Buildings, and that's on the agenda. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Councilman Thompson. Finance and planning?
Thank you, Madam President.
What about questions?
No
Okay.
questions.
Councilman Wilson, do you have questions?
I don't have any questions here.
Finance and planning?
From the Assessor's Office, an ordinance authorizing amendment of ordinance number 16 adopted by the City Council on November 13, 2024, entitled an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an application for correction for the tax years 2023 and 2024 for city, county, and school tax bills, and directing the controller to issue a refund credit to Metro Green Realty of Westchester LLC, 0 Oak Street. That's block 164, 68, 10, 55, 19. Due to correction of error. That's on the agenda. Number 16. Yep. Office of the Control and Ordinance authorizing extension and modification of the tax interest amnesty program for qualified owner-occupied residential properties in the city of Mount Vernon. That is on the agenda. Next one, Office of the Controller and Ordinance authorizing a budget transfer from contingency to City Council outside contracted services to support legal services for the Charter Review Commission. That's on the agenda. Caitlin, I know you had a question on that. I did speak to Corporation Council. The reason being that their capacity as well as a possible conflict due to the nature of the commission. So that's why our legal department is not doing it. All right, number 18 from the City Council, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon authorizing the Second Amendment to the Land Disposition Agreement regarding 20 South Second Ave South Second Square, CMV LLC, LADA for Library Square. And that is on the agenda. And that's all that I have.
Thank you very much, Councilman Box Hill. Just a question for the whole council regarding item number 16. I got communication from the comptroller's office asking if the council had appetite to have an amnesty program for commercial properties. Just wanted to hear some general thoughts or.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it, for how long? And, did any commercial, owners show interest?
Yes, I believe that's why the question was
Okay.
proposed to me. A commercial property came in. And a commercial property owner came in and was asking if there was any alleviation that we can offer to them. So just before, I mean, I'll give my general thoughts, right? I wouldn't do the same type of amnesty program that we're doing for residential. I would, if we're gonna do something, it would be a percentage, right? To offer some help, but I wouldn't, my personal opinion is I wouldn't treat commercial properties as residential properties. But just need everyone's thoughts to see if we want to do something like that. And it would be to answer your question to the same time as this other amnesty program, because if we're going to sell tax liens, it'll happen in June.
Okay.
I concur. I think we should offer some help, because they are providing businesses in Mount Vernon, so I do believe we should offer some help. But I do agree with you, not to the extent that we help our residents.
Just to weigh in, I would definitely, be open to an amnesty different from residential.
Okay.
So I look forward to seeing what they come up with. But I don't think that they are under the same guise as residents are. And, I'd like to see what type of plan the comptroller will come up with for that. So I'm definitely open to it.
Sounds good. I'll relay it back to.
The ultimate goal is to recover back
Yes.
taxes.
Property.
Exactly.
And if this means that we're gonna see a real uptick in collection, I'm not opposed to giving a similar amnesty as residential. That's just my
So
personal.
you would do 100, you would
Yeah,
100%.
I would do the 100%. I don't know how many people are gonna take advantage of it, but I would like to see those back taxes get paid, for sure.
Again, I don't disagree with you there, but I'd like to see what they could come up with. If that would be something that commercial businesses would be interested in. I think there are a significant amount of commercial businesses that need the help. Just like our residents, right? So, let's see what the comptroller comes up with.
I'm eager to have the conversations with the comptroller about this, because our businesses qualify for grants and fundings that our residents don't. So, that's why I'm a little hesitant with giving them the same deal. But I'm eager to have those conversations.
Sounds good. Thank you. I'll get in touch with comptroller and let you know what he says. So do we have a roll call to enter our legislative session? Or can we have a roll
Yes,
call?
yes,
Thank you
yes, we
very
can.
much.
Councilman Box Hill,
Present.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Here,
Councilman Potteet is absent, Councilman Thompson,
Here,
Council President Brown.
Here. All right, legislation and public works.
all right, getting right into the agenda. Sorry, Madam President. Item number 1, Office of the Mayor, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to attend the 2025 New York Conference of Mayors, NICOM, a municipal officials annual meeting and training school. So moved.
second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 2, Office of the Mayor, an ordinance authorizing the execution of an updated memorandum of understanding with the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative. So moved.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson.
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 3, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of Article 9, Section 105-B, entitled Abatement of Nuisance of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon. So moved.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason.
Aye.
Councilman Thompson.
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 4, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing a 1-year leave of absence for Mr. Jawad Abdul Halim, laborer to serve as code enforcement officer in the Department of Public Works. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason.
Aye.
Councilman Thompson.
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 5, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a land lease agreement with Max Joel of Positive Pup Play Group for the external area of the animal shelter located at 600 Garden Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason.
Aye.
Councilman Thompson.
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 6, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the Department of Public Works on behalf of the city of Mount Vernon to commemorate National Public Works Week from May 18th to May 24th, 2025. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason.
Aye.
Councilman Thompson.
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 7, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the attendance of the Department of Public Works skilled laborer Brian Whitley at the traffic signal technician training through the International Municipal Signal Association and authorizing expenditure of funds for such purpose. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason.
Aye.
Councilman Thompson.
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 8, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the declaration of emergency at city-owned property, parking structure, and fire department of Mount Vernon station houses. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason.
Aye.
Councilman Thompson.
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
19. Oh. 19.
Okay. Item number 19, Elizabeth Ferreira, an ordinance authorizing a city permit for the Portuguese American Club's annual Saint Antonio Feast, Portugal Day Block Party on June 8th, 2025. So moved.
Second.
On the question? And we said we have all the answers in for this one, right? No issues?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Roll call.
Councilman Box Hill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason.
Aye.
Councilman Thompson.
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. Does that conclude,
That concludes
Thank you.
legislation and public works.
human resources?
Thank you, Madam President. I have item number 9 from the Department of Recreation, an ordinance authorizing the creation of an additional recreation assistant program, position, in the Department of Recreation. So move.
Second.
On the question, so just on the question, I spoke with the commissioner about this position as well. So based on what she told me, yesterday, I believe, is that the bus line, the position for the bus driver that they have, that they no longer need. So when we are doing budgets next year, that we should make sure that we exclude that bus driver position so that they can include the recreation position instead. But that's all I had for roll call.
Councilman Box Hill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason.
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 10 from Recreation, an ordinance authorizing the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor the 2025 Fourth Street Classic Basketball Tournament. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 11 from the Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of ordinance number 16 adopted by the City Council on April 23rd, 2025, entitled an ordinance granting permission to the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau to utilize City Hall Plaza on Wednesday. It will be Wednesday, May 20th. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
I have an add-on, item number 18, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon, honoring Miss Veronica Gill on the occasion of her 100th birthday. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Of course, aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
President Brown, I was hoping you could have given us some feedback.
Well, I
because
thought that you should've
went
just said that.
and, right, celebrated the 100th
So
birthday.
I actually had the opportunity to go celebrate with Miss Veronica Gill at the Dole Center. I believe it was Monday. Monday was her birthday. Strong woman, yeah, sat down, talked with her. She was giving me advice on life, how to make it to 100 years. She's shooting for 100 more, so we're gonna root her on in that. But it was just an awesome celebration. Everyone says how kind she was, how she brings gumball drops for all of the seniors at the Dole Center. So it was amazing. She had plenty of gifts, plants. They had a huge cake for her. So it was just awesome to experience that milestone with her. And I gave her a resolution that was prepared by our lovely legislative assistant, just signifying the moment for her. So thank you, council, for being so thoughtful. Thank you, Antoinette, for helping us get recognized 100 years for one of our residents.
Good job.
All right. Anything else you need from me, Councilman Thompson?
That's it.
We're gonna go ahead and move on to public safety and codes.
Okay, I got you again, Madam President. I have item number 12 from the Fire Department, an ordinance authorizing the provisional appointment of Fire Captain Robert D. Curtin. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Can I just make a statement?
You said no on the question. Go ahead.
I just want to say that I'm very excited about this because I think that fire leadership came out with a very creative way to combat overtime. And it is with a person that has a legacy in the department. His father was a prior deputy chief. He's also a veteran, which I think that more than anything, we don't promote our veterans nearly as much as we should. He's also a trainer within the fire department and Westchester County, and I think that this is a great appointment.
Awesome. And just to add on to that, from what I understand, he would be sworn in tomorrow at 9 a.m. This is gonna be a special Board of Estimates meeting, right? Clerk Bonilla? Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, I
We'll
was gonna
see.
say, it can't go into effect until it goes to the Board of Estimate, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be,
Okay.
I thought there was a special, I don't know. I'll be there if there is.
Okay, give him my best.
Roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 13 from the Department of Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding to partner with Westchester County on the STRIVE initiative under the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services. So moved.
On the question? Councilman Thompson, what of understanding was that?
Memorandum of understanding, what did I say?
I'm gonna show.
Oh, did I mess it up?
Actually say it, but it's like.
I wasn't sure what.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Roll call.
Standing.
Memorandum of understanding, sorry, I thought I said,
Usually more eloquent.
I've been up since 4 AM, so excuse me to that.
Councilman Box Hill,
Uh,
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye,
Council President Brown.
Aye.
I think I have an add-on, add-on number 20. Department of Buildings and Ordinance authorizing the reallocation,
Councilman
that's not me?
Thompson,
Yeah, it is.
add on number 18.
I did that, right?
No.
Yeah, I did that already.
You did
I'm
that.
on
That's HR.
20 now. You see, I'm not the one
Catch
sleep,
up.
I'm not the
Catch
one
up.
sleepy
We
today.
did 18 just.
We did.
We did that. You even said a comment.
I even had to
No,
speak.
item number 18 is the resolution.
I had to
Oh,
speak.
you did.
Oh.
And you know what? I apologize.
You see?
And you spoke on it.
I take accountability.
You talk about me
Yeah.
today, look. You see that?
I'm gonna enjoy this.
We on item number 20. Department of Buildings and Ordinance authorizing the reallocation of funds from the code enforcement officer position to fund a temporary help position in the Department of Buildings. So move.
second.
Did I read all that?
Yes.
Okay.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. All right, finance and planning.
Yes. An ordinance authorizing, this is the assessment office, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of ordinance number 16 adopted by City Council on November 13, 2024, entitled an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an application for correction for the tax years 2023 and 2024 for city, county, and school tax bills, directing the controller to issue a refund credit to Metro Green Realty of Westchester LLC. 0 Oak Street, block 164-68-10-55-19, due to a correction of error. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
I'm gonna abstain. I actually do business, even though I think I could be neutral in this situation. I do business with this particular organization, so I'm going to abstain from voting on this.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. So that needs,
Second
they need a second vote, yeah. Okay,
All right, 15, Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing the extension and modification of the tax interest amnesty program for qualified owner occupied residential properties in the city of Mount Vernon. So moved.
Second.
on the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
All right, moving on, number 16, Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing a budget transfer from contingency to city council outside contracted services to support legal services for the Charter Review Commission. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
I'm voting aye based on the conversation I had with Corporation Council. And I do not believe that they have the resources to be able to support the Charter Review Commission in the capacity that they would like to be supported. That is the only reason I'm voting aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
All right, finally, number 17. From the City Council, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon authorizing the second amendment of the land disposition agreement regarding 20 South Second Square CMV LLC, LADA for Library Square. So move.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. That concludes our agenda. Do we have any comments from the council? Any new business? I believe there's a press conference tomorrow announcing the business camera legislation and the program from the city. There is. That's all I can remember right now. Any events coming up that we should let the public know about?
Just on, just on Wednesday, the youth rural
Oh, yeah.
program outside here on the steps. Given the weather permits. But also before we end the meeting, I would like to keep the Hamlin family in prayer. For the passing of Divine Hamlin, they called him Peanut. Yeah, you know, I think it was 38. So just keep that family in prayer. They had the services today at Grace Baptist Church. And I know there are other families going through it as well, so let's just continuously keep these families in prayer. That's all.
Okay. All right, well, do we have a motion? To during the meeting?
I'll make-
Adjourn this meeting, so move.
I'll second.
All right, roll call.
Councilman Boxell,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. Have a great night, Mount Vernon. Stay,
Moment of silence.
and can we have a moment of silence? Thank you. Have a great night, Mount Vernon. Stay dry.